This is Land of Havilah, 1 Chronicles 7. Coming up, the multiplication of Jacob's son Issachar, verse 1. Of the sons of Issachar, Tola and Puah, Jashub and Shimron, 4. Comment, Issachar and his 4 sons came to Egypt with the family, Genesis 46. Now coming a select few of Issachar's grandsons and great-grandsons born in Egypt, and their eventual number in the time of David, verse 2. The sons of Tola, Uzi, Rephaiah, Jeriel, Jemai, Ibsam, and Shemuel, heads of their fathers' houses of Tola, mighty men of valor in their generations. Their number in the days of David was 22,600. Comment now other branches of the tribe of Issachar, who also multiplied into tens of thousands by the time of David, verse 3. The son of Uzi, Izrahiah. The sons of Izrahiah, Michael, Obadiah, Joel, and Ishiah, 5, all of them chief men. With them by their generations after their fathers' houses were bands of the army for war, 36,000, for they had many wives and sons. Their brothers among all the families of Issachar, mighty men of valor, listed in all by genealogy, were 87,000. Comment now Jacob's son Benjamin, verse 6. The sons of Benjamin, Bela, Becher, and Jediel, 3. Comment, Benjamin had 10 sons in Genesis 46:21, not 3, but not to worry. 1 Chronicles will include more of Benjamin's genealogy in the chapter after this one. Now some of Benjamin's grandsons, then skipping to what became of them by the time of David, verse 7. The sons of Bela, Esbon, Uzi, Uziel, Jeremoth, and Eri, 5, heads of fathers' houses, mighty men of valor, and they were listed by genealogy, 22,034. The sons of Becher, Zemira, Joash, Eleazar, Elioenai, Omri, Jeremoth, Abijah, Anathoth, and Elamoth. All these were the sons of Becher. They were listed by genealogy after their generations, heads of their fathers' houses, mighty men of valor, 22,200. The son of Jediel, Bilhan. The sons of Bilhan, Jaish, Benjamin, Ehud, Chenaanah, Zethan, Tarshish, and Ahishahar. All these were the sons of Jediel, according to the heads of their fathers' households, mighty men of valor, 17,200, who were able to go out in the army for war. Comment now for some other Benjamites who pop up without fitting neatly into the genealogy, verse 12. So were Shupim, Hupim, the sons of Ir, Hushim, and the sons of Aher. Comment now the tribe of Naphtali, verse 13. The sons of Naphtali, Jaziel, Guni, Jezer, Shallum, and the sons of Bilhah. Comment, that's it, just one verse for Naphtali. Naphtali came to Egypt with the 4 sons just mentioned, Genesis 46:24. For 2 of Naphtali's 4 sons, the spellings here are a little different than in Genesis. So how do we explain different spellings in Chronicles, different than in earlier books? One explanation is that from the time of Moses to the latest times recorded in Chronicles, it's a span of about 1,000 years. Languages evolve over time. We wouldn't recognize English from 1,000 years ago. Hebrew's the same. By the time of post-captivity, the common man in Israel couldn't understand what Moses wrote very easily. Moses had to be interpreted, at least somewhat, Nehemiah 8:8. So with change in language, there were changes in spelling. In verse 13, there's no mention of the tribe of Dan at all, except to say, quote, and the sons of Bilhah, end quote. Bilhah was Jacob's wife, who bore Naphtali and Dan. So that was Dan's only mention, if we could even call it a mention. Now the tribe that arose from Joseph's son Manasseh. Manasseh and his brother Ephraim became Jacob's sons by adoption, Genesis 48:5, verse 14. The sons of Manasseh, Azriel, whom his concubine the Aramitess bore. She bore Machir, the father of Gilead. Machir took a wife of Hupim and Shupim, whose sister's name was Maacah. The name of the second was Zelophehad, and Zelophehad had daughters. Maacah, the wife of Machir, bore a son, and she named him Peresh. The name of his brother was Sheresh, and his sons were Ulam and Rakim. The sons of Ulam, Bedan. These were the sons of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh. His sister Hamaleketh bore Ishdod, Abiezer, and Mala. The sons of Shemitah were Ahian, Shechem, Likhi, and Aniam. Comment in verse 15, Zelophehad's a familiar name from the book of Numbers. Zelophehad died in the wilderness along with that generation. He left no sons, but he had 4 unmarried daughters. Inheritance at that time went to sons only. The daughters of Zelophehad would have been left with no inheritance in the Promised Land, so they appealed to Moses about it and won their case. God's ruling was that daughters should receive an inheritance of land when there were no sons to receive it. Numbers 27:9. In verse 18, we know the name Abiezer from the book of Judges. Gideon was a Manassite from the family of Abiezer, Judges 6:11. Now coming Joseph's son Ephraim, whom Jacob also adopted, verse 20. The sons of Ephraim, Shuthelah, Bered his son, Tahath his son, Eliada his son, Tahath his son, Zabad his son, Shuthelah his son, Ezer and Eliad, whom the men of Gath who were born in the land killed, because they came down to take away their livestock. Ephraim their father mourned many days, and his brothers came to comfort him. The story in verses 20 to 22 is found here only. In the days when Ephraim was still alive, this would have been in the early days in Egypt, some of Ephraim's male descendants tried to defend their livestock from theft, but got killed in the process. In verse 22, Ephraim's brothers came to comfort him, meaning individuals from all Israel, which was probably only several hundred people at the time. Now speaking of Ephraim after the tragedy, verse 23, he went in to his wife, and she conceived and bore a son, and he named him Beriah, because there was trouble with his house. Beriah means trouble, probably referring to his older relatives having been murdered. Coming up, we can identify most of the place names as being in the Promised Land, verse 24. His daughter was Shirah, who built Beth-horon the lower and the upper, and Uzan Shirah. We can assume the one-woman Shirah didn't build 3 towns. The builders were Ephraimites who traced their descent from her. Now tracing the male line that leads from Ephraim's son Repha to the famous Joshua son of Nun, verse 25. Repha was his son, and Resheph, and Telah his son, Tahan his son, Ladan his son, Ammihud his son, Elishama his son, Nun his son, and Joshua his son. Now speaking of Ephraimites in general, verse 28. Their possessions and settlements were Bethel and its towns, and eastward Naaran, and westward Gezer with its towns, Shechem also and its towns, to Azzah and its towns, and by the borders of the children of Manasseh, Beth-shean and its towns, Taanach and its towns, Megiddo and its towns, and Dor and its towns. The children of Joseph the son of Israel lived in these. Now coming Jacob's son Asher and the tribe he fathered, verse 30. The sons of Asher, Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, and Beriah. Sarah was their sister. That agreed letter for letter with the list of Asher's sons in Genesis 46:17, who came to Egypt. Now for some selective lines of Asher going as far as 5 generations out, verse 31. The sons of Beriah, Heber and Malchiel, who was the father of Birzaith. Heber became the father of Japhlet, Shomer, Hotham, and Shua, their sister. The sons of Japhlet, Pesach, Bimhal, and Ashvath. These are the children of Japhlet. The sons of Shemer, Ahi, Roga, Jehuba, and Aram. The sons of Helam, his brother, Zophah, Imnah, Shelesh, and Amal. The sons of Zophah, Sua, Harnepher, Shual, Beri, Imrah, Bezer, Hod, Shammah, Shilsha, Ithran, and Bera. The sons of Jether, Jephannah, Pispa, and Erah. The sons of Allah, Erah, Haniel, and Rizia. All these were the sons of Asher, heads of their fathers' houses, choice and mighty men of valor, chief of the princes. The number of them listed by genealogy for service in war was 26,000 men. The number 26,000 was probably again from David's census, 2 Samuel 24. 1 Chronicles 8 is next at landofhavilah.net, 1 Chronicles 8.